The views and opinions expressed in this broadcast are those of the host/guest and do not necessarily reflect the views or positions of any of BXR entities and those they represent.
Hey, family, what is given? I hope you are out there living. You are joining me for another You Better Live show. And you know how I go. You better live. What's up? What's what, y'all? It's a new year. New Year's blessings to you all. If you haven't been here with me before, then guess what? You are in for a treat. You know how we do on the You Better Live show. Basically, we know and we get to grow together. Salutes, shout out to everybody who has been supporting me since day one and who is right here with me again for the new year. It was a couple of my Facebook fan period. We say Facebook because we so indulged in social media these days, but it's so much of my fam that was telling me they was going to tune into the night. And you know, I already got my faithful followers, my faithful supporters who are joining me every Thursday. And I love y'all. I live for that, right? So y'all know how we get it started. We get it started with that prayer because all honor and glory is always to God. And guess what? We got so many things to be grateful for, but so much to pray for. So usually when I start the show, you know, like I said, I give all of my glory out to God, but I got to do the prayer, y'all. I break that down every time to explain so y'all know exactly where I'm coming from. You know, it's a lot of things that's not so good going on in the world, right? That's like some bad things. And really, when things be going on like that, it just makes you really realize how good you got it. How good you got it. So guess what? Dream as if you live forever and live as if you only got today. Father God, I thank you. I come to you giving you thanks, Lord. Bless everyone who is viewing, everyone who is watching, oh Father God. I ask you to continue to look over my city, oh Father God. Continue to allow us to share our love and our light, oh Father God, as you see fit, oh Father God. I continue to cry out for you, for mercy, for guidance, for love, not just for myself, but for everyone, oh Father God. We bless your name and we thank you. If we had 1,000,000 tongues, I said 1,000,000 times, we couldn't thank you enough. Amen. Amen, y'all. Amen, amen, amen. Guess what? Because life is good. God remains great. And tonight, I'm going to be coming through with some good Jones. Yes, look. I was telling y'all, we know, look, it's 2023. And y'all got to stop trying to keep up with the Joneses, but I got some Joneses that's coming through that y'all definitely need to keep up with, okay? I'm going to be bringing her through here soon. But again, just wanted to give y'all the whole little rundown. Let you know if you out here, come on, hit us up in the chat just to say, hey, show us some love. The lines are going to be open, 443-642-9403. So don't you hesitate to call in and share that love and to ask these questions. When we get this professional, this queen, this mother, this daughter, this sister, this entrepreneur, this licensed, all of that up in here. And I'm telling you, my beautiful Black people have been doing a thing for me, living, coming through here. And you better live. That's all I'm going to say. That's all I'm going to say, y'all. I am excited. It's the new year. There's a lot of people that are not here with us. So forgive me if I'm like too happy, you know, because I know it's a lot of sad things that's going on in the land, but this is how I stay. You know, one of my last guests, Queen Bia, y'all remember her, right? And that peaceful healing and just understanding how a positive mindset is your medicine. And that's where I want to stay. So that's what I put out. That's what I put out. And my guest who I'm bringing on the show definitely understands that, because in her bio that she sent me, that's exactly what she said. She believes that whatever you put out into the universe is what you get back. And we're so grateful for her coming today to put some the good Jones, like I said, the good Jones up in here. So without further ado, Shanica Jones, where you at, girl?
I am here.
How you
Thank you so much for the introduction. I love it. Thank you.
And I love you. We love that you are here. We love that you are here. I gotta give another shout out to my boy Frankie Jones, who made this awesome connection. You know, I just now mentioned, yes, thank you, Frankie. You know, I just now mentioned Queen Baya here. Meet that Bia. I told my sister I was not gonna forget it because I don't know why I want to name her Baya. But for him making this awesome connection, I think it's really important for us to continue to be open and to receive one another and understand when we make connections, baby, it's not miraculously. It's all for a reason. And guess what? As I give everything to God, I know everything comes onto me from God. So it's as you think of and it's as you give. So that's one of my affirmations that I've been saying, Shanika. I'm saying,
I love it.
God, whatever I want and I need is on its way to me. I am open. I receive. I am grateful.
I believe
so,
it.
Shanika Jones, how you feeling this evening?
I'm blessed and highly favored.
Blessed and highly favored. Great. Okay, we see you, but you're a little bit on the side, me too. So look, let's move over just a little bit.
Right here?
Like, yeah.
I think I'm looking at the wrong
There you go. You see? Look, I'm in the middle too. It's a little bit crazy.
y'all check out the gear.
Yes, assets over liabilities. You feel me? Yes, let them see that gear. Let them see that gear because that's definitely a powerful statement.
Yeah.
Right there.
Got it? Okay.
Yes, indeed. So it's raining, but it's just who better to bring through some sunshine. So like I was introducing you, I was explaining that you are a mother, a daughter, a sister, and a friend. That is very important. So many titles as powerful Black women hold. And that's in, personally, but in your professional life, you are a licensed Maryland realtor and an entrepreneur.
Yes.
So I know you came through and I hope people have some questions for you because look, I done tried home ownership a couple of times. Shout out to India Whitlock, shout out to Trina Gilliam, a couple of people that didn't try to help me. But guess what? I know it's coming and I know it's going to go that way. Hopefully you can give me some tips. Hopefully you can give our viewers some tips and everything else. So I would ask you how you was feeling, right?
You did.
All right. How you feeling? How you feeling?
Good.
Good.
That's good. Thank you for the introduction. I love it.
Oh my goodness. And I love it too. I always feel so good when people can come through and grace this space and just feel, you know what I mean? That goodness, that good vibes, like I was saying, it's very important, as you said, to put out into the universe on what you want to give back. And I definitely go by that all the time. We talk about that all the time when you better live. And just basically, that's just the motto. Like you better live, like no matter what's what. We know all of us go through, but guess what? When I come through and you come through with me, we ain't going through that. We're going to have a good time and we're going to live up in here. I was giving a shout out to Frankie because he connected me with Shanika. We're going to be talking more and some other business and everything else like that. But Shanika, how long have you been a licensed realtor here? I mean, tell us about you.
Okay, so almost 4 years. But I wanted to start off to thank you for the introduction, how I got into doing what I'm doing. Like I said, I'm a woman of faith. I'm a mom, a sister, auntie, cousin, friend.
Yes, that part.
I'm a licensed realtor, and I'm also a notary here from Maryland. And friend, I love anything positive, and I truly believe what you put out is what you get in.
Yes, indeed.
So I wanted to take it back to how I got into doing me thinking the way I'm thinking in entrepreneurship. Back in, in our community, nothing wrong. My parents probably joining now, so there's nothing wrong. But in my household, in the community we grew up, it was go to school, get your high school diploma, go to college, work for the federal government. The government, you good.
Yes,
you all good, that. You great.
So you can have your 20-year career, you can retire
and they got you forever.
Let them work you for a slave.
So, that's what I did. When I got my associates, got my bachelor's, I'm like, I got to get with the government. So I got working with the federal government in DC in 2016. So when I got there, you know, people was like, girl, you get your master's degree, you're going to evolve, you're going to be good, girl, you're going to make all this money. Okay.
More liabilities, right?
So I started University of Maryland, University College at that time. Now it's Global College, I believe. Mm-hmm. I did 1 year, 2017, with a master's degree, and I got 12 credits. So the beginning of 2018, I'm about to start fall. And at this time, I'm not getting the political game, but Trump was in office. And I just remember hearing he was going to shut the government down. And I'm like, he's going to shut it down. I'm like, I'm not believing that. And the people that I work with is so normalized by the government just shutting down, them not getting paid. And I'm like, I've been working since I've been 15. I never not got paid. Not thinking about it, just not thinking about it. And towards the end of 2018, he shut it down.
Shut it all the way down.
He shut it down.
It's like how COVID shut it all the way down, right?
He shut it down.
Thinking about that, yeah.
Right. And we didn't get paid for like 3 or 4 weeks. And I just remember a friend of mine was like, you know, you ever thought about doing real estate? And I'm like, why would I don't know nothing about that. And he was like, no, you should think about doing it. This time we're shutting down. We shut down. And I was talking to my brother, Mike. He may be on here. Hey, Mike. And I was telling him about it. And he was like, you know, sis, you really want to do this? And I'm like, yeah, because at that time, like I said, it's shut down. And if we know, sometimes we don't react on stuff until something really happens.
Yeah.
Right. So
not proactive. We so it's a reactive, you know.
I know, exactly.
I got you.
So when that happened, I just told myself, you know, I can't never have nobody having control of my destiny of what I'm doing.
Yes.
And that changed my whole mindset when I started the real estate class. I mean, the first couple of weeks, you know, I came home, was on the phone, watching TV, whatever. But then I seen something on TV and it was like, you know, you have to be focused. And Chaz, a lot of you not, since 2019, when I started real estate school, I had stopped watching TV like that. Like I was watching my shows, man, The Housewife, Potomac on Sunday.
Okay.
On Monday.
A ritual.
I was watching that since 2019. Exactly. You know, my whole mindset changed when I got to involve in real estate. And it's not to bash people who's working, but if you have a dream, if you have something you want to do, work on that while you're working your 9 to 5.
That's
you know,
right.
And sometimes I do feel like I'm abandoning my dreams. I want to do more, you know, and I'm going to do more. Let me say that I am going to do more.
Yes, you are.
Work on what you want to work on, and don't have nobody having control of your destiny. And I started reading more. Like my favorite authors are Dennis Kimball. You know, Think and Grow Rich. I read that as a Black choice. What Makes a Great Great. You know, of course, you read Rich Dad, Poor Dad. You know, how to be, you know, your own boss in 12 months. You know, so a lot of books now I read to kind of motivate, you know, they does motivate me to keep doing what I'm doing. And I do have other business ideas, you know, that's streaming now that I'm trying to get in, that I'm going to get into. But, you know, and like I said, me getting into real estate, it just changed my whole mind, my whole perspective of everything. Right. And like I said, there's nothing wrong with you want to work if you do what you want to do. But I know, like, for me, I just ain't like nobody could even have control of my destiny because I never got paid for what I was doing. And at that point, I just figured, they got control of everything that I'm doing right now.
Right.
So me doing real estate and me being an entrepreneur that I am, it had totally changed my mindset and what I look, you know, what I'm looking at, and just feeding myself with positive stuff. And I listen to a lot of podcasts like this. I got from a podcast called Earn Your Leisure. I listen to a lot, and motivational messages. I listen to Les Brown and Eric Thomas in their podcast. So you know, I just really, my whole mind, you know, my thinking just changed with everything. And you know, so I just love what I'm doing. I love being positive, and I love the growth that I'm doing and the growth that I'm looking at now and things that I want to do. Yeah. So, but you know,
keep on evolving, keep on evolving. Because as I'm sitting here and I'm listening to you, you know, tell your story. What's remarkable is that, you know, we all have our own individual stories, but you know, if you go to some people, you know, Shanica, some people can verbatim kick off the same thing or whatever the information or whatever the situation, what I'm trying to say, it was that brought them to that different mindset and pushing them. And, you know, and the topic for the night falls like the start is not finished. And that's what I want to say. Because sometimes, you know, we get wrapped up in our routines, what our ages are, you know, thinking we should be at a certain point and everything in our life. But you just got to keep on going, and things happen in a way to push you out the way and help you make your way. But we already got a phone call up on here. So somebody coming through to show us some love. We already had Rafiq up in our comments saying peace and blessings right back at you. So we're going to take this phone call, see who this is that's already calling, giving us some love. Girl, let's for it. I love it.
All right.
Hey, caller. Is we on there? Oh, they might have changed their mind. They might have got a different mindset, but I don't know. Hopefully they come through on this soon. But I'm gonna just finish my thought, you know, and what I was saying is that, you know, a lot of times we go through things, like I was saying, that we feel is, you know, not good in some terms, but it ultimately always works out for our good. And when you telling it, and, you know, and us making this connection, it's like, you know, my story included a lot of what you was just now saying, sister. You know, where I told it a couple of times, so, you know, my faithful listeners, they have heard it before, where I was somewhere 13 and a half years and things was happening, you know, and I was like, wow. And sometimes that's where that faith steps in. You know what I mean? Because without those situations and those matters, like, that's the only way faith is going to work, because it's no need to, what can I say, really, to have the faith if you're going to always be comfortable. You know what I mean? And I understand now that anything that's like challenging and trying to put you on that shift like that, that's God working. Right. You know what I mean? That's God working, because he's not going to send you anything, you know what I mean, that's not for you and everything. That's why sometimes we be all in our heads. Hold on, what's going on? No, and we be comfortable with things. Like I tell you, we be in our own way. Okay, I see the note that our caller had got disconnected. Hopefully they'll call back through 443-642-9403. That is remarkable. You know what I'm saying? Your story. Everything else, because I know that was hard to step away from, because like you said, that's what we are, so, you know, the norm of the 9 to 5. Not that we're not telling people that not having a job, you know, is not an essential thing. But I remember someone, a very influential brother over my life, told me, you know, the breakdown of job is just over broke, you know, different things like that. And just like you said, if it crashed, we seen it. With the COVID and how everything shut down, like, what you gonna do? So even with that tragedy, I know so many people were able to realize, you know, that I gotta do something, and I gotta do something for me. And, you know, we always showing up for other people, you know, faithfully. And it's just that you gotta be in that season to be able and ready to show up for yourself. You know what I mean? And to walk away from that, which you consider normal, you know what I mean? And especially working for the government, with everybody telling you, oh, you so, you know, you lucky. That's like the best of the best, right? And why would you leave that or leave that money? But, you know, salute to you for even having faith in yourself and in your abilities, because even though, you know, real estate is a common thing now, it ain't for everybody, and everybody can do it. Like you said, it takes a certain focus and a certain dedication. Even though you've only, you know, been in that professionally for 4 years, really, I'm sure you can share some situations that you didn't even know. You didn't even know how he was preparing you to even be in that role as a realtor.
Like you just mentioned, Chad, the whole thing with COVID. COVID pushed people, because I think with a lot of jobs, you know, they figure they can move without a body.
Yes.
So when COVID happened, and I remember hearing, it was like, look, if you haven't thought about nothing to do during that time, you behind the 8 ball. Because that time, especially, people was getting licensed, whatever they was doing from home online. And that's what that push gave them, because a lot of jobs, they figure, oh, we don't need a body. We can do it without a body. And we only can have one person doing what we normally would have 20 people doing.
Yes.
You know, so if people didn't catch it then, it was kind of like, what are we doing?
What's going on, right? Because you got to keep on going. You got to keep on going. But just like I was saying, we be so much in a routine. That's what it was for me. It seemed like the same day. What's that movie? Like Groundhog Day. It's just like, it was in a routine and I got to get up, I got to sleep, where all of that is essential. But I'm right with you. It's like, dang, I'm showing up for everybody, even my friends and family and my associates who I knew that were already into having their own business. Look, my tongue always going crazy too. That's another thing too.
Right.
But all of them that were already doing that, it's like, I was really supporting that. I was there and everything else like that. And I was like, girl, you gotta do something for you, right?
Yeah.
And I had did radio and different things like that. And I was like, no, that's really what God wants me to do. And even the name on the show, You Better Live, like I really was like in a dark place in my life, because you be doubting yourself. God is who he say he is, but I don't know why. I just pray every day, say, God, let me see who I am. And it's always that part. And I just was like, dang, I feel like I've been Groundhog's Day or every day or whatever else like that. So I'm just so grateful that God pushed me and I understood.
You live it in your gift. I think a lot of people do with their passion, and your passion not give you where you want to go. You got to go with your gift that God gave you.
Yes,
gift is what's going to take you. A lot of people try to follow their passion, but the passion is not going to cut it because you ain't going to have that, that feeling anymore. But that gift is something that's going to take you where you need to go.
Yeah,
so I learned it in my gift. I did my spiritual gift I did in my church years ago, and it was pretty much serving people, helping people.
Yes.
So that's why
that's my main thing. And that's my main thing. Helping people definitely makes me feel so very good. It's just one of those things. And essentially that is really what we're supposed to do. That's what we're supposed to do. We're supposed to help one another, love one another, support one another. Like we said, treat people how you want to be treated. That's only right. But for whatever reason, we have so many distractions. I know you remember saying you would stop from watching TV, to get focused. And there's just so many distractions out here. So it looks like our phone call is back. Hopefully we don't get disconnected this time. So thank you, caller, for calling back. How you feeling? Did we get disconnected again? Because that's how I be. How sometimes when it's live and sometimes, when you on here trying to share all this good. Hey. I don't know. Sometimes.
Hold on. Calling again?
See? You hear the Lord sing-a-ling, right? Oh, no. Oh, my goodness. Well, I hope you're smiling now because I surely am if you see me on the screen. Thank you so much for calling back. Who am we speaking to? Hey, well, ain't that love? Ain't that love? Well, you gonna get some brownie points, right? You gonna get some brownie points in there. Look, crushes is good, so we ain't gonna crush you. Thank you for calling in and giving us the love. So look, you let it know. G. Wow. You know what? I live for that. The start is not finished. Well, G, we was just getting in the show. The lady you have crush on is a realtor or whatever. Do you have any questions for her? Aside okay. Yes.
What was the question again? I'm sorry. Oh, okay. Well, first, I wanted to go back to what you were saying. I understand the whole thing about people passion and what they can do. I'm sorry. And people do have to work to pay bills. I can work at a daycare because I know that's my passion. I like kids. But as far as my gift is pretty much doing something else. I don't know how much far my passion would take me, but I know my gifts in me, would take me further because I'm gifted in that area. I'm not disagreeing with you. We can agree to disagree, and I think we're saying the same.
Basically, essentially the same.
I think we're saying the same thing. Exactly.
Because even in having my gifts, and whatever I do, it just makes me passionate about doing anything. Exactly. So even though, at this time in my life, I may have a passion for this area because, this is essentially what I have to do. Like I said, I have a passion to help people, what I mean? To show people love, to bring that type of love and light into the world, do whatever I can where I'm at with what I got, right? But I also acknowledge that as my gift. I know that that's a gift because I know that everybody don't have that. So it means everybody don't have that. That's not something that everybody can give. And I truly believe in our gifts, that is what we're going to be held accountable for. And what we receive
what we love,
gifts.
So we have the ability to do. We can love to do something.
Yes.
That's not our gift. And I'm not disagreeing with you, but I'm saying I can love my passion, to doing something, but my gift could be doing something else. And that's going to involve me to where I want to go. Because that's a gift God put in me. My passion is something I started loving myself. The gift is, I believe, is what God put in you. Your question is, I'm sorry? Oh, okay. Then you asked what my gift, and I said it was hospitality, me serving, me giving. I did a spiritual gift for my church years ago, and that's what I truly believe. So I joined a hospitality ministry, which I'm still in. I haven't been doing it since COVID, and I knew that's what it looked. I love doing what I'm doing, even in real estate. People may say you do a lot, and it's not about the money. I'm gifted. I love it. I do a lot. In real estate, we don't get paid until we close or whatever. So me helping people. And it's one like, oh, that's you doing a lot for that. You're doing a lot, but that is my gift to do it. I'm not just passionate to doing real estate because I can be passionate, but that's not my gift. I'm not going to put 110% into that. My gift, I'm going to do that because I know that's going to take me where I want to go because I'm gifted in that. That gift is what God put in me. Passion, I believe people, they learn. Gift is what you're born with. I truly, I'm sorry, go ahead. How can I?
What advice?
Oh, I would definitely, definitely first pray about it. See the things that you do the best, not what you love, the things you do the best of. And I think that's where you will find out what your gifts are, what you do the best. Because what you do the best, you may not even like, but that's your gift. And people don't realize that when they're doing stuff.
Right, and it follows you.
They may not like doing it, but like you do it well. But they don't like doing it, but they do it so well, and they don't know it's their gift.
Absolutely. Even if you are in, that 9 to 5 or whatever, wherever you are, even when you decide to step away from that, I always understand that when I was there, I was still me. So I still bring my gifts in that, and from learning different things, or, you know, and working in advocacy or whatever, I was passionate about it. But essentially it went right back to my gifts of being able to help people, to connect with people. It was already in me, but it just was like, you know, at that moment. So, you know, by no means, yes, we know, just like we said, it's good that people got that mindset shift to go into entrepreneurship, but we do understand that some people, you know, where they at, you know, we ain't knocking nobody. You gotta be a 9 to 5 with all the shifts, 3 to 11, 11 to 7, whatever you gotta do to get through. But if you start to feel it in your intuition, what I think the main point I was hearing you say, Shanica, was please focus on that too. Give to that too. You know, give to that too, because you never know, you know, where it could go. You never know how it could grow or how it can evolve. And obviously, if it keep on coming back to you, you know what people say, like that intuition, that feeling, whatever. And it's scary when it comes to you like that, right? It is scary when it comes to you like that. But what I learned is, Brother G, you can't have fear with faith. That was an awesome comment and an awesome question. Thank you for calling in here, crying. Okay. I love it. You enjoy yours. Wow.
I do agree with him, but they do combine, they do. Yeah. You know, that's in the Bible. God is, I mean, I truly believe people are built, they are born with their gift, but there's certain stuff they don't like doing. And they like, you be like, you do that well, but I don't like doing that, man. But that shit, great. You know, I don't like
awesome,
it,
right?
So great.
Right.
And they passionate about something else, but they do the other stuff so good, you know?
Right. And I think too, part of it be like how you were saying that someone having that definite like control, because even sometimes when you're in those spaces, and like I said, not knocking jobs, you know, with your gifts or whatever, I say that, you know, in jobs, there's different policies, there's procedures. We get that. Money always get on me all the time about, you know, it's just certain ways things could go. But you know, the reality of it, and sometimes when you're in them spaces, you know, we see things, you know, that's not right, and we don't agree with it. And sometimes, you know, that's sometimes, you know, when your gifts start to clash with what you thought the, you know, the passion was, and, you know, you step away from it, and just to having that control like that, you know, like you said, the government was shutting down. It's so many people, a lot of times that is in jobs. I used to say it all the time, like, baby, if that direct deposit don't hit this week, for this to clear and that to clear, you know, I'm telling the truth. I don't know what I'm gonna do, and it be like that. You know, I remember all of those moments. But I praise God, because, you know, without a job, with a job in my role as this, you know, radio personality, doing my entrepreneurship thing with the whole "You Better Live" thing, you know, I'm comfortable. God makes sure that I have what I need, even though I still have some struggles. But I said that too for the new year. I said, you know what, it is as you speak of. I'm gonna speak life into my life all the time, because I say it, but now I really be having to say it out loud. I be having to say it out loud to myself. Because it's amazing how you can be on your positive vibes and your good things or whatever, and something will come and it'll switch your whole mood or whatever else like that. But you can't stay there. You know what I mean? So that's what I was saying, you know, as far as the night's topic at the start is not the finish, because I shared with you, I've tried the numerous times. God knows that I have. But I truly believe that, you know, when it's my time, it's going to be my time. And I know God's been looking out for me too in some part, because these houses is high. When I was looking the last time, so it was all that too, on, you know, the loan amount that I was approved for, you know, when I want to look for these houses. And I just was like, wow, they want this for this, or, you know, and I just still wanted to come. So it's always that part as well. Unfortunately, you know, with a lot of the churches you go in the city, you always hear people saying they want to move out the city, they move into the counties or whatever else like that. But things be happening, like what? I have what in the what's all the time, what in the world's all over the place. But yeah. So like we was talking about, like our passions and everything else like that, like far as with, you know, if someone just had the thought of like, you know, I want to become a homeowner because, like I said, the houses are high, but the rent ain't getting no cheaper either. So
yeah, I mean, and definitely the market is definitely turning to a buyer's market now because the interest rates are so high, and it's coming down.
Yeah.
I believe it's probably maybe like 5.25, you know, something like that, but it is coming down. So if someone was interested, you know, I would ask them, you know, what's your credit score, what it's looking like, and I would introduce them to one of my partners. I have a couple lenders that I work with,
right?
And they pretty much would, you know, get that information, do like a soft pull, and pretty much see where they are. You know, you get a loan now, you want to wait, you know, focus on this, focus on that.
Right.
There's some people, of course, you know, they refer them to grant programs, and they have to do a first-time home buyer program. And
your class
work with them.
and everything that you had to say. And just like you said, we were talking about things online or whatever. I know they made that easier as well, because, you know, I think it was like the third time I had to take it, and I was able to take a course online for free now. And a lot of institutions and everything else provide that first home buyers course for free. So I know about that. I didn't know that they had expired. So it was a lot of things, you know, through the process. Realtors. Like I said, I give shout outs to you because you definitely have to be very knowledgeable. Y'all had some awesome connections because, like you say, you know them lenders who's going to lend you that money to get that house. You know what I mean? Yeah. So all of that is just like, you know, some people is ready, some people it's not, but a lot of times and you don't know either, because I know when I initially reached out about buying a house, I was like, well, you know what, I don't make enough or do this or do that, because I talked about like the loan amount, you know, that I got. So that probably was about 10 years ago. And I was surprised, you know, that even with, you know, my certain income, whatever, you know, I was good. Only advice, like how you said, if I was like the lender was like, you know, get your credit card, you know, and different things like that. Credit, it was other things on my credit, as far as like medical bills. I remember I was worried about paying them, girl. And I never forget, he told me, don't worry about that. Don't worry about this. This is what I need you to do. So it was just different things like that. You know what I mean? So, you know, like I said, don't put no cap on yourself. The start is not finished. A lot of people think that they're not ready for home ownership. You know, they look at these houses and everything else like that. The home ownership courses, I know the ones that I have attended, even with they free, because, you know, sometimes when stuff come free, people try to, you know, take away from the value. But it was very knowledgeable, you know, very good information that helped me understand the process a lot more better. And of course, you know, it's important to have a great lender. I mean, you know what I mean? A great lender.
Yeah, and I think certain people, they just scared to ask questions. So if they don't ask questions, they won't know.
Yeah, so you gotta be open to want to ask questions.
Yeah, definitely ask questions, you know, to get some kind of clarity. They just go by what they may hear from other people. But if they ask questions, they may not even, you know, need everything what they think they may need. So and I was telling someone recently, a guy contacted me because he wanted to buy a house, and I'm asking me, you know, my credit not that good. And I was like, well, okay, well, he said, I don't have any credit. I'm like, well, you don't? He like, no. I'm like, well, you know, credit is pretty much king. And he like, I'm hearing that. And I'm like, yeah. You know, a lot of people, the dollar is about to be non-existent. So people have to make sure they get their credit up, you know, because credit going to be, I mean, I couldn't believe me and my mom, we went to Six Flags this summer. They didn't take cash for nothing, for no games, no food or nothing. It was all credit. So you know it's evolving, it's changing.
Yeah,
so need that credit.
It certainly is, and it's changing all the time. Just like how you said that, even with, you know, the insurance rates or whatever like that, even with the houses. So it's good to know that there's a buyer's market. Shanica Jones, if you want to get in contact with her, I did share that with my real her Facebook and IG, Shanica.Jones _ realtor, right?
Yep.
I got it right. I be trying to have it up in my memory.
You got it.
But do you have like a number, or like, are you at a certain?
Yeah. 443-722-7496. That's my direct number.
Okay. And before the end of the show, I'm gonna ask you to repeat that again, just so I can type it up in the chat so people can see and everything else. But yes, you are absolutely right. It's a lot to it. but you definitely can prepare yourself, fam, if that is one of your goals. And it's people out here to help you, like Shanica Jones. I gave a shout out to a couple of people that have tried to help me along the way. India Whitlock with Madison Morgan Home Group. Trina, I forgot who that's under. But yeah, it's awesome. I know a couple of people that have been stepping into this real estate arena. I remember Frankie, who introduced us, was telling me, it's Frankie Jones. I remember him coming through, let me know, Chas, this is my thing. This is what I'm gonna be doing. Me and him talked about that when he was a guest on my show. And just like I said, with gifts, different avenues, because just like I said, since I've met Frankie, it's always something that people may say you're doing, too much, but that's just, you go where your gifts lead you, and whatever you're passionate about. And I heard even Frankie said before, that his passion is to help people and to do new things and, and different things like that. But everywhere he is definitely sharing his gift.
Yeah.
And I've always embraced that from day one. I'm going over here in the chats. I got Miss Queen T, Shanica. This is like my lady, okay? She is here with me every Thursday. She said, hello, ladies. Hey, Queen. Thank you for joining us. We have someone, Blessings Forever, that said, preach. I guess they were talking about when we were just talking about, our gifts and our passions. And they also made a comment that said, your gifts come naturally. And this is what we on here doing. You know what I mean? We sharing our gifts and it's coming naturally for us. Like Shanika said, you don't know if you ain't ready or what you don't know unless you start off and, ask the question. Right. That's my suggestion. And just going back on one of your statements that you made, like when someone reached out to you and they were saying like, well, credit, or I know, or I'm hearing that or whatever. That goes back to some norms, some normal stuff or condition stuff that, like how we said, we were brung up, not to say that our parents did that job, those weren't the normal conversations as far as like credit and entrepreneurship. You know what I mean? So that's a gift inside of you. You know what I mean? But those type of things, like you said, we only knew get a job, go to college, get your degree, go your 401k, work, and then you'll be able to retire. And that age going up when you're 65, and that's going to be long and long and long. And then when you get that age, then you ain't get to live. You just worked all your life. Right. You got that money. All you did was pay bills, and you ain't live. My body all broke down from working and everything else like that, even though, we trying to do healthier things been working out too, where people have been trying to do healthier things, healthier habits, eating better, different things like that. Even what we saying right here, and to share, positivity and good or whatever, you know what I mean? That ain't always been the mood. Sis. That, right? So it just was something that wasn't, I always seen my mother, always seen my people work, go to work. That's what we all know. 2-3 jobs. Sometimes 2-3 jobs. So I guess what you just was saying, originally, because I'm just going back to it because we don't want people to get it misconstrued. Is that, you do all of that. And if you ever had that intuition, like something keeps coming back to you, do it.
Yeah.
Do it.
Yeah. Definitely.
Do it. And that's where I was at. Even though, I say don't put that cap on yourself, with your age, or even, in careers. Like how you said, people be in a certain avenue, they be in a certain lane. We got this saying out here, stay in your lane. But I always believe life a highway. And you gotta switch it up. That's boring. You staying in the same lane all the time. It's bound to be an accident. You're gonna crash, right? You gotta put that blinker on sometimes. Switch up the lane or whatever, but wherever you go, your gift is going to follow. So aside from the credit piece, is it something else that, is one of the main things that you typically try to tell people to prepare for?
I mean, also, your DTI, debt to income. So you don't want to have too much debt, because the lender going to look at, okay, let's say you bought a new car, new bike, you got a credit card bill. Okay, would that cover your mortgage? So they're looking at how much mortgage they're going to give you, but they're looking at your debt to income.
Right.
So you may be a liability, to them.
Right.
They're giving you this loan, but you have all this debt and you can't even pay it.
Right.
So, you know, I tell people, are you definitely looking in a house? I wouldn't buy a new car. I wouldn't buy a new bike. I wouldn't, you know, add more debt to what you have, because that's what the lender's going to look at.
Right. And I remember going through that process as well. When I did one first, like home ownership counseling, when I first, you know, had a counselor and everything. And I remember going through that process of breaking down the budget and really seeing too, you know, really putting my expenses on paper, breaking down in the budget or whatever. And I was really able to see in areas where I was wasting money, you know what I mean? And areas where like I needed the money, and for real, I was like, oh yeah, I'm really robbing Peter to pay Paul.
Yeah.
But that helped me out with some things. And then I also got the understanding of, because you know, you talk about that, but there are like good debts, right? There are things that you do want to have. Like I said, the suggestion from one of the lenders was for me to get that credit card, you know, that was 10, 15 years ago when I had tried, because I didn't have that, you know, I had already been on my own for so long, paying gas and electric, Comcast, you know, BG&E, Comcast cable, paying my rent, no issues. And I didn't understand that that wasn't really, you know, it was working for me because I was working it out, but it wasn't really working for me in that regard. Far as with the credit, and everything you need to see. So
because I think, I'm not sure, like I said, the lender probably can discuss it, but some people they will put like their rental information on their credit report, and that will, you know, be a good, you know, something positive for them, saying just what they've been paying.
Right.
But yeah, definitely, you know, you know,
you look, you don't want to be owing no landlord.
Right. You know, you don't want to do that because, you know, they look into that, you know. So, but yeah, I mean, just, you know, talk to, you know, your realtor or whoever, or a lender, you know, I wouldn't be afraid of it to be a homeowner.
Yes.
Definitely.
And I know that had happened to someone, you know, a friend of mine who was going to buy a house. And when they were going to buy a house, that car had broke down. And they went and I know that whole situation, they wound up, you know, getting a car payment or whatever, and that messed them up. You know, that really messed them up because, like I was saying, like on their budget or whatever, I guess what it was, the term, it was like how you said they had another liability where their money was going somewhere else. And it was really like, you know, the question was like, can you afford this? Like, where's the money? You know, even though, you know, what's normal to us to rob Peter to pay Paul, the lenders, you know, they really help you to be honest and realistic. You know what I mean? I can even remember like with my first loan amount that I received, like I was like, what? And when I was looking for houses, I was like, man, I can't even really find nothing that I want in this room. I just was thinking about, you know, a nice house, this house is house, not meaning that you can't find some for, you know, cheaper or whatever. But I wasn't even thinking about, you know, the price of the the mortgage and everything. You know what I'm saying and everything. Hold on, wait a minute. Like, so if I would have got more, you know what I mean? When you know how they do the whole breakdown, then my mortgage amount would have been, oh, I ain't had that with that. So it's like that process to really be realistic with yourself. You know, I would encourage anybody, you know, even before you start the process, because like I said, I done been through it a couple of times. Y'all better live for it.
A couple of times.
But that's just a good practice in your life, really, is to like break down that budget. And you can see stuff. Like you say, you stop looking at TV. I was like, oh, you know what? I don't need that shrimp and broccoli. Oh, not today. I started packing my lunch. You know what I mean? When you look and you break down stuff, I said, wait a minute now.
I haven't had cable in like, oh my God, over 5-6 years. Yeah, I do stream.
See what I'm saying? Yes. So everything is changing, guys, and y'all gotta get on around or whatever like that. Like I said, don't be fixated on trying to keep up with them Joneses. I'm telling you, baby, because it ain't just, you know, that Jones ain't it. It's Shanica Jones that I got on here. She said that she's sharing all of this awesome information with us. And we got somebody up in the chat, Garrick. What's up, Garrick? Thank you for tuning in. He says, what is the least you can make and get a house?
The least you can make? I would definitely refer that to a lender.
Yes.
Because I can't say you can't get a house with $50,000,
Right.
You probably
Absolutely.
can.
Right, absolutely. Because that's what I'm gonna say. Like when the lender, how you was talking about your credit and everything else like that. Basically, what happens when she connects you, they look at all your information.
Right.
Like I was saying, I got them tips, and sometimes they'll tell you different things that you had to do. So even like I was saying, Gert, if you was here with us, you was hearing me say that when I tried the first time, I thought my income wasn't even high enough. And I remember I wasn't even making 40,000. I wasn't even making 40,000 a year. But when I went and did it, and I got that tip as far as the credit card, whatever, I think like my first approval they were gonna give me was like 150. And I was shocked. Like, oh, what? Yeah. So brother, it really all depends, on the lenders and everything else like that. They'll work with you and everything, but I guess the most point is that they're not going to give you anything that they see you can't afford. Okay. Nope. Because they don't want your house
but they will look at you like, comment on that though too. Yeah, and don't fall into that trap on approval.
Okay.
That's not the last step.
Okay.
Just because you get approved for a house doesn't mean you got a house.
Tell them.
I've been in that trap before.
That's another one. It's
a process.
You just have to be honest, because when people do the application, the lender's going by what they put on it.
Exactly. And that's
so it. I'm sorry, go ahead. I didn't want to cut you off.
No, you're right. I was just agreeing with you. And it's only what they put on there, and that's it. It's a whole slew of other stuff that goes into the purchase of that house. It's not just that approval. That approval will get your heart pumping like, oh, yay. And you get to the nitty-gritty of it, and your debt, the debt ratio thing.
Right. Hold on, look, when they start asking for them bank statements.
People will put stuff on there. And then they, you take them out, look for a house, and it's towards the middle, and they like, we need more documents, and they look at it like, oh no, we approved you for $350, but no, this is what you want to get. So people put on there, and they prove them to their point. So just be honest. Some people be honest and
be honest. And I also
this is his question too, because it's not about, like she said, it's not about the amount of money that you make.
Right.
Because you can make $30,000 and have in a savings account $50,000, and that's your approval right there.
Yeah.
Because you have the money for the down payment, you have the money for your first 6 months of mortgage, and they will get you through. You can that part can be easy if you have the money.
Right. Yep. And I also learned too is that with what they lend you, you don't have to use all of it. Because some of us, like we said, we jump clean. You know what I mean?
Living on your means.
Live on your means. Live on your means. And not enough of us don't do that.
But you're right, though, because that's what a lot of people do. Just because they tell you can get $350,000 worth of house, if you don't get $350,000 worth of house, don't buy $350,000 worth of house. That could be your next house.
Right.
When your income has tripled or doubled.
You don't need all that. And then when you calculate it and see how much that mortgage is going to be, while people were saying, oh, I'm because I don't want to spend $2,200 in rent, but now you already spent $3,200 and more. You know what I mean? So it's all a breakdown.
The people that are those hermits, the people that not hermits, those people that are nomads, they like to move around a lot, are the people that always fall into that trap.
Yeah.
And house that they buy, they want to get the biggest and best house, knowing you're not going to stay there more than 10 years.
Right. Right. He got a point.
Think about your goals. Where you want to be really.
Right.
Really. No, because buying a house is an asset and it's an investment. So you got to think
people just be honest up front, because that underwriter going to find out. Them underwriters are very smart.
What?
They are very
I'm telling you. They jump out in the flash. Let me get your tax return.
Yeah.
Initially I remember that was something that I had to send, in the beginning, but I remember even in the middle, when I was getting to somebody, they asked me for it again. So like you said, they definitely be checking. And then too is a process too, because, I was always nervous about that when I was going to look for a house, because I always felt like, when you have that anxiety about it, you're so anxious. You know what I mean? To want to buy a house. And like you got on a perfect shirt, assets over liabilities. Because it's supposed to be an asset, an investment. You don't want it to feel like, you know what I mean? A liability. You don't want to put yourself in a financial hardship. Because like I said, the bank, they don't want the lender, they don't want the house back. They don't want
that's how they do a lot of people, with foreclosure. They don't be wanting them houses back. You know, the thing is about with real estate, you know, is to use it and to pass it down to your generation, to your kids, you know, because they will have something. It's not about being rich. That's wealth. It's keeping that in your family. It's
always going to be there.
Because real, that's.
Yes, and we got Gert back with another comment. He said, do you think the market is saturated with too many people working in real estate? And I just want to say something first, Gert, before you even respond, because I guess he's asking the expert, right? But I'm just going to say, in my opinion, no. I remember someone breaking that scenario down to me before too and say, imagine the person that is making millions and trillions now off of toilet paper. If they thought, oh, I don't want to put my name on the toilet paper. I want to make toilet paper because all these other people got toilet paper. But that's just that's just my opinion on it. But what you think, Shanika? Do you think that it's saturated, like too many people up in real estate? Because people can be in it but don't know what they're doing.
Well, I have heard it saying people do business who they know, they like, and they trust.
Right.
You know, so if you're going to get into it's a business transaction, that's what it is. If you're going to get into a business transaction with somebody, make sure that's who you feel comfortable with. People may get into it, be getting into it, but you definitely got to have some kind of connection with them. You know, it got to be authentic when it comes to that. You know, don't let that stop you or think different about real estate because, you know, I mean, your audience, no offense, but you know, that's what they try to keep from us.
Yeah.
Real estate, the wealth. Red line.
Yes.
You know, so
the stuff to build on.
Exactly.
Okay, the stuff that build on. Yes, and I agree. And just like I say, to be a realtor and just help, it definitely is a gift. Because I can remember, like I said, going to look at houses, and I always told me, oh my goodness, I'm wasting this person's time. They were always so professional being there. I mean, I used to think I'm wasting their time when I'd be like, oh, this ain't what it is. Because, you know, the pictures always look different. You gotta go and see it. I understand that. You gotta go and see it. The pictures be looking good.
Yeah, you have to.
Or some of these houses, you go and see it. People tell me too, a good thing to do, which I did follow, was to go around that area. If you think you do like the house, go on that day and night, see what's the happenings and everything else like that, because it exactly is a contract, is a bit, and you don't want to. That was my biggest fear.
Yeah,
I don't want to buy no house. Go ahead.
Right, because if you come to me and you say, "What you know, I like this house, but how is the neighborhood? You know, the crime." I can't disclose that. All I can say, Chase, you know what? Go to Department of Correction online, check it, call the local police department. That's all information we can give y'all.
Right.
You know, license roads. We can't tell you exactly, oh, they shoot over here, they sell drugs over here. You know, I would tell call the police department, look online, Department of Correction, look on sex offender registry, to get that information. Definitely you do have to do the work. Yeah, we there to help and serve you, but you still have to do your part. Yeah. That's for anything. Don't depend on no one to do everything for you.
Right.
Because people may do a certain thing to get what they want, but not so much. I know when I've been in my house now for almost 13 years. And when I first bought my house, the realtor that I was working with, I could tell he was getting agitated. You don't want this house, you don't want that house. And I'm like, no, I didn't like it. But you don't want that house. And he was pressuring me. And I remember I talked to the lender and he was like, Shanika, whatever if you like something, that's what you like. He said, because I'm telling you, once you sign your name on that dotted line, he's going to be gone.
That's very important.
He said, so get something you like when you want to move, because he's going to be gone after y'all close. You won't see him no more. And he was in line. I learned something from him. I learned something from him because even with me, like the people I close with, my clients, I send them like birthday cards, Christmas cards, stay in contact with them, because that guy never spoke to me. And people, and what I learned, you got to stay and communicate with your clients and people, because people may buy it, that means you may sell. or they may have referrals. You know, so you want to keep in contact with them. It's not just, oh, you give my money, my commission, I'm gone, we good. You know, my website is called buildingwithshanikajones.com. So I like to build relationships with people.
Y'all heard that right? Buildingwithshanikajones.com.
That's right. Buildingwithshanikajones.com. That's my website.
Up in the chat. Yeah.
Exactly. So yeah, so definitely. And you know, and I didn't hear from him. And I'm like, oh, that lender was never lying. He was like, don't let him, you know, if you need to give him a realtor, get another one. Do not let him pressure you and get anything.
Right, because and that's
he's
what
going to be gone.
Yes, and I think that's what I was thinking. You know what I mean? Like, even when, you know, I remember being so ecstatic, like Bonnie said, you get that approval. Oh, I still got this approval. I'm going to look for this house. I knew that I needed this space. But like I said, when I got into it, you know, it might have been 15 years ago, the reality was like, okay, I'm not going to come here and not be comfortable. Because it got, you know, more bedrooms. That's when I really started getting, you know, knowledgeable about what the square feet and everything else like this, because I was going in the houses. I say, oh yeah, I need a 4-bedroom, but I would go in there and the 4-bedroom be littler than my 2-bedroom, and they got rooms everywhere, and some things wasn't even rooms. For a room, and I said, well, okay, but that's why I just is giving a salute to y'all, because yes, you know, to have that realtor that is patient with you and you don't feel like you frustrated, because the ones that I was blessed to be able to work with, that's how I was feeling. Like, cause I was like, oh no, I go and see it, be like, oh, the pictures ain't look like this. Oh, that ain't no bedroom, that's a closet, whatever. So that, and I can remember, you know, the realtor be laughing. I'll be like, I'm sorry, you came out here, you scheduled this time. No, girl, this way you go ahead to, you know what I mean? So I was blessed that I got that type an experience, and not the one, you know, you got, even you got help, but you do kind of feel, you know, so it'd be all of that. It'd be the pressures, you know, from coming from everywhere, the pressures of life, period. You know, I know people have different things on them. For me, it'd be like, you might need more space. You just want to get out on a certain area. You feel like, okay, I got this approval, and I just want to move on it right now. I had learned that too, because I was thinking like, okay, but I'm like, no. And then when I was delayed for so long and I went back, I wound up getting a bigger loan. You know what I mean? But then that's when I understood, like, well, you ain't got to use all that, because then it's going to be that. So yeah, it's a process. Yeah, everybody say that in that process of building a house. So yes, that relationship, that person is willing, you know, and able to build with you is very important. You want to feel comfortable. That's a big decision. That's a big goal, whatever. So I think that anybody you have involved in that is going to have to be able to understand, you know, where you come from, and what you're looking. And one of the main things you said was ask questions. Ask questions. Don't be afraid to ask questions. You have to. Gert, he commented again. He said he want to make clear that he is excited for everyone to do what it is they enjoy. He's only asking questions to get the thoughts and ideas of you and your guests. And we appreciate you. We appreciate you. We appreciate all your comments. And you can call in on the show too, Gert, 443-642-9403. We appreciate you. Yes, that's what we do. We on here to communicate, comprehend, and to relate, and to share this information. And we got Shanika Jones right here. This is a powerful sister. It's a powerful thing to gain some knowledge and be willing to share it. You know what I mean? Be willing to share it. And this is free information, guys. And I made the point earlier is because, you know, our people, you know how we look at things sometimes, that if it's free, we kind of try to diminish the value of it, really. But what you are putting out there is definitely awesome. So yeah, God, we appreciate you. We share these thoughts and ideas in here. Everything is constructive, and we good. We good. So we appreciate you, Garrett. I hope you come back with me next Thursday and talk to me and have some thoughts and some ideas, because without you making them comments, we talking, but you know what I mean? So baby, I live for it, and you make the show. I thank you so much.
And you never know unless you ask a question about it. You would never know.
Yes, you would never know.
Everyone, you would never know.
Yeah, different. Another thing I heard all my life, there's no such thing as a stupid question, even though I've said that a couple of times.
Right.
Oh my gosh. But I just said that a couple of times to people. Somebody asked me a question. Well, that's a stupid question. You know what I mean?
No, it's
not. When I think about it, right, I'm like, I did say that to somebody in the reply.
You know how I used to be in high school or middle school, whatever, you want to answer a question so bad and you think it's stupid and somebody else asks a question, you be like, I was going to ask that question. But you think it's stupid, but somebody else probably thinking the same thing you're thinking, but they don't act, you know?
And then sometimes it be information, it be so much information to share, right? And people mean well and trying to give it all to you, just like, you know, in the home ownership process, they want to give it to you, but it's just some things that you forget, unintentionally forget to mention. And that's one of those moments too, when someone asks you the question, you like, good question.
Right.
You know what I mean? Like, good question, because why you bring that up, you know? So yes, be open to have questions, especially if it has something to do with you and whatever, and it's something so significant as buying a house, like buying a house. And it's a process. It's definitely a process. So I know when it's my time, look, I'm gonna be ready because they know I ain't lying if my people that didn't help me before. What they say, practice makes perfect.
If you want to buy a house, if you want to sell your house, if you want to lease a house, rent a house, I'm your girl.
Yes.
You want to get an investment property?
That's your girl.
You know, so I mean, hey, but
that's
like, you know, don't be afraid. You know what they say, fear is false evidence appearing real. So fear, you know, stop you from, you know, what you want to do.
Right. So even with the real estate, and that's how you were saying when you left, you know, from the government, you got into the real estate, you're still doing some other things, you know, where your gift is being used and your passions or whatever. With the COVID or whatever, how, like, tell some people, because, you know, we're talking about, you know, the goods of it, of entrepreneurship or whatever else like that. But sometimes I like to, not far as what they say, we don't complain, but we acknowledge sometimes of what some of those, you know, stresses or the pressures might have been. But in spite of, you kept going. And I think sometimes that's important to share that part as well. So was there any, you know, struggles in the beginning? And you know
what? I'm sorry, I meant to cut you off. Go ahead.
No, I was saying, like, I know from the beginning with the school thing, you were saying and being focused.
Because the thing about it, when I really got into real estate, COVID was starting. It was 2019, but we didn't know what it was.
Okay.
So 2020, I really got into it when I started working at home, because we was working from home. And it ain't, you know, but I mean, you know, people lost their lives, you know, not saying, you know, I'm glad it happened, but it really pushed me, because when I was home, I was like, I love this. I love doing what I love doing.
Right. And when the world opened back up, it was
running. Right. And I came back up, I was like, oh, okay, but I really, because it was like I was putting 100% energy in what I like to do.
Yes.
You know, and not giving someone else 8 hours or whatever. It was a lot, because I was getting up at 4:30 in the morning, dropping my daughter off, getting on the train like 5:40 in the morning, going to work, getting off by 4, coming here, getting my daughter by 5:30. You know, it was like 12, 13 hours gone out of my day, you know, but it really pushed me, because I was like, I like, when I was home, I was like, oh, you know, I was taking people to look at houses, you know, clothes. It was and I was like, I love this, Lord. I love, you know, it just made me feel really good, you know, because it was like, it was 24 hours, 7 days a week, focusing on what I love to do.
Right. But and I know one of the best parts too is helping someone, you know, at the end of it, really achieving that goal, achieving that dream, because, you know, for a lot of people that, you know, that's people's dreams. Those are their goals. Because like we had talked about before, you know, and us growing up, you know, and just being in that tradition of having a job and working and stuff like that. Not a lot of my people was home in houses either, you know what I mean, or home ownership or that type of thing. We talked about it being something that you can pass down to your children, you know what I mean? Something in the business that you can pass down for your children. And then also, you know, and buying a house is like, yeah, this mine's. You know what I mean? That this is mine. You know what I mean? Look, Garrett is up in here. He is talking about it, huh? He said he had already called. Also, do you think? Oh, that's Jay.
That's Jay.
That's Jay. That's Brother Jay. Look, just sticking it out, Brother G. Come on now, you know I love you. Thank you for calling, Brother G. I live for it. He says, do you think working in real estate is one of the few professions where men and women are equally paid based on their work?
You asking the wrong person, guy. I mean, I would say, you get what you work for. You work, if you work what it is, then that's what you're going to get. But at the end of the day, what the commission is going to be with the commission.
Right.
So whatever you put out there, that's what the seller got to pay. So it depends on what is your worth. Guys may charge, I'm just saying 3%. A woman may charge 3.5%. It's whatever they charge. It's not, your supervisors might pay you. They picking their own commission of what they're going to pay. What their commission going to be.
Okay.
So,
right.
I mean, now if you ask a question, then do he think more women get deals more than more men? Like, I don't know. I don't think that could be a question. I don't know.
Right. That would be something to, look up or whatever else like that. But what I see here in Baltimore, just like I said yourself, I know Frankie Jones, I seen equally men and women, not talking about, just the pay, but, just equally having an interest in following, the avenue to become realtors. A lot of people, that I know have been getting into, insurance, as well, having their own insurance companies, being brokers and different things like this. So all of this stuff really, that is, like you said, wealth or whatever. Yeah. It's our time. It's our time. So man and woman, and especially my black people, I definitely live for it. You know what I mean? It's a beautiful thing because it's like I said, I used to always be thinking like people don't want to lend you no money to be able to build and have that wealth, but they'll lend you money to own them, to owe them or whatever. And that's how we just think about, the country or whatever else like that. We see, different people be able to come over here, they get these loans to be able to open a business. But we be having to grind, you know what I mean? When we be saying we that came from the bottom, now we here, like that be real.
Yeah, that's real.
When it be for us, because that's what they say, other nationalities, they might feel, oh, them black people lazy. They don't want to do nothing. But no, the reality is I don't get the same opportunities a lot that you do. You come over here, that's why they got all the carryouts, all the nail shops, all of that other stuff like that. You know what I mean? But my homeboys and my homegirls, they be starting in the basement. I can remember when I first started driving, and it was a sister that I had met, and she had just became an insurance agent or whatever, and she was doing her own, for the car insurance or whatever else like that. And I remember, giving her a chance. Yep, she was right up in her house, up in her basement. And I had her for years and years and years and years. So guess what? You definitely can make it happen. That is one of my main points on bringing the guests that I bring through on here. Because we know, a lot of times the turmoil or the light sometimes that gets put over our city, but that's what it's all about. It's really people here trying.
That's trying,
Trying, right? And nothing beats a failure by the try. So G, we thank you for all your comments, your call-ins, even you getting hung up on, oh, he's been faithful with us tonight, right? How lucky we are with. So had your crush on here, right? So so thank you, G. Thank you, G. Thank you, G. But I do, and going just back on his comment, I do know, how we talked about things that we are so used to. We do know, like in other professions, unfortunately, you know what I mean? Men,
it is that way.
It is that way that men may get paid more than women or whatever. So I think that's the point. Or like that's where he was going, with that question and say, like, is this one of those careers and profession where that's not really likely to happen.
Mm-hmm.
And based on what you said, it's not, because it's based on what's in your contract, what you charging or whatever. It's not one of those things where it's like an hour to hour rate, or you waiting on the check, you know, to come from somebody. Yeah, so that's what it is. That's what it is. So now that you were saying a couple of the things, you know, like with the COVID and everything else like that. Even with your experience, with your first lender or whatever, that was a situation that God allowed you to go through to know.
It was definitely a learning. Definitely a learning, you know, situation.
Right. On what not to do. So I'm sure that you're really good in making people feel not, you know, feeling good, feeling comfortable, with understanding that it's not a race. We have to. That's with anything.
You know, how you treat people, that's how they're going to give it back. When you abandon people, they're going to be like, okay, well, all right, you know, I'm not going to give you energy that you're not giving me. And, you know, even though he, you know, did what he did, but it was a teachable moment for me of what not to do.
Right.
You know, even the people I have worked with, they, you know, text me, you know, happy holiday. I don't know my birthday, but happy holidays. You know, how are you? Or they have gave me referrals to people. And I appreciate that, because this business is built off referrals.
Right.
A lot of business are built off referrals. So you have to make sure you treat the person, you know, treat them like, okay, well, we had this, but I'm still being communicating with you, because we get our business from referrals.
Right. It's important. And I brought that point up before too. You know, I guess when he asked, like, is it too many real estate agents? Like, it can be a ton of people. That's another thing that I would say. There can be a ton of people doing certain things. How many people we know that are doing certain things? And that's just, it ain't them. You know what I mean? They doing it, but it's not their gift. And when it's not their gift, it just ain't going to come off right.
It's phony. It's not a part of them. If they just doing it for the money, doing it for the wrong thing, people are going to pick that up. You know, so even me on the other side dealing with agents, I mean, call them about a house or whatever, and it's like, you know, you don't hear back from them, you're not professional, you know, and people remember that.
Yes, and different people we have to use. Like when you get the people that come out that has to do the appraisals and the inspectors and different things like that. So everybody that, you know, plays a role in that process, like, yes, your attitude and your business, you know what I mean? Your customer service, you know, people want to provide a service, but yes, customer service is like everything, you know what I mean? How you connect to people, how you talk to people. And then, like I was saying, especially with something like that, I ain't talking to you. I ain't about to look. Buying a house, I'm sure, or, you know, any realtor, anybody can understand that it would get on your nerves sometimes. So you know it's getting on a person who's trying to buy a nerve. So I don't need you to be having
right.
I don't need you to be having no attitude, to be acting like I got stupid questions or whatever. So that I do understand that a person can't answer the phone all the time.
Right.
But you know, in my experience too, they were real good with texting. I'll call you at this time or whatever like that, because everything is on time too. You know what I mean? Everything is on time too, certain dates or whatever. So there's a lot that goes into that too, you know, because I remember wanting to go see houses, you know, it gotta be scheduled, you know, and I remember, you know, with the COVID thing, oh my goodness, it was really difficult, because I remember the last time, look, those are nobody, I was looking for a house. It was during that COVID, so I can remember it was a lot of restrictions too on that process. But just like I said, I think that it's been put back for me, because God making sure those rates gonna be coming down, getting where we get, you know. I think a lot of those influxes that we've seen had to do with that as well too, because, you know, a lot of people, you know, were trying to get out of certain things, trying to get out of houses. A lot of people were losing their jobs, couldn't afford, you know, certain things. So it was like, look, let me sell this or whatever. But yeah, that's what it was. So Shanica Jones, repeat that again. Let me go over here to the chats.
My website?
Yeah, no, I'm gonna go over here to the chats. Really what I want to do is I want to type it up in these chats.
Okay.
So I can have it on here. I'm also going to share your social media contacts again, as well as your phone number. So guys, bear with me, Because just like I said, 13 years, that's the thing. If you don't use it, you lose it. But no, I can't lose my typing skills. That's like riding a bike. But I'm gonna put it in the chat because I definitely want to make sure that anyone who needs your services, that needs your support, can get in contact with you.
Right.
Yeah, we want to definitely make sure that. But let me just go back to the comments first too. With our brother G. Now, this is somebody else. No, this ain't G. This is Garrett. We got a lot of G's on there. One was Garrett. One was Garrett. So, brother G, if the other one want you, Garrett. Okay. I apologize, but he says, do you only have your license in Maryland? Oh, yeah, that's a good question.
I do. I am licensed in Delaware, but I haven't activated yet. But Maryland, I'm only fully doing right now. Yes.
Right. Okay. So that's important too, that you have to be licensed in different Michigan, whatever, because we know it might be people out here that's looking, that is interested in home ownership, but hey, it may be somebody else too that is interested in becoming a realtor or whatever else like that. So those are some things too that you may can help people with. So I'm gonna go ahead into the chat. And brother G, I'm gonna just call all of y'all G for good. Don't be sorry. DG gang, do not be sorry. Yes, do not be sorry. What is it? Let me do your number first. Hold on, no. Look, I remember this first, right?
Okay.
I know that Shanica Jones _ realtor.
That's right.
I know that's the IG, right?
In business Facebook, right? In
the business Facebook. I'm trying. Mm-hmm. Look, Monty, I'm ready. I was ready to work you, but Monty said, he be typing all the time. One of Monty's expertise is accounting. He's doing all types of stuff, concierge, and everything else like that, services or whatever. So, he's his passion and that's his gift. To be doing all that type of stuff. So that's exactly what he's doing. So we got this right here, the IG. We want to enter that. That is Shanika IG, Facebook, y'all. Be sure to look her up. Go follow, like. I'm gonna tell y'all the same thing far as the You Better Live page. Share, like, comment, copy. Look, do all of that, okay? Do all of that. Right. Then I also remember you said your website was building, right?
No, it's build. It's build. B-U-I-L-D. Yep, build with ShanicaJones.com.
Okay, y'all got that right. Build with ShanicaJones.com. Mm-hmm. And is that the way that they find you only? Is that just with the real estate?
Well, yeah, they can get on my website on there. They can click on my website to look at homes, connect with me. All my information is on there.
All right.
And, with the Instagram and Facebook, I have Linktree, so they can click on that. They can get all my information on them. So either way, either outlet is okay.
Either way, however you gotta get up with her. She's still gonna be here. We got a little bit. Look, we almost to the end of the show. I tell people when you come on here and you sharing good information and you having a good time, time be flying. It don't wait for nobody.
I know, right?
Time be flying. It do not wait for anybody.
No one.
And just want to first start. Well, not first. Well, like endly, because since we ending off, but just again giving a big shout out to you, Shanika Jones, for joining me today, sister. You already know me from a can of paint, but you done came up in here and gave some beautiful colors.
Thank you.
Today. Big shout out to Frankie Jones again for connecting.
Thank you, Frankie.
Thank you for sharing this information. I'm also going to type your number in the chat, but we are still here. She has a lot of information, guys. Come on, use her. Knowledge is power. Be sure to check for her after the show. You know that I'm here every Thursday, 7 to 9. Next week, oh man, it was on the tip of my tongue. I got another guest for you next week too, a young lady who's an artist who just had an album release. Wow. I hope that y'all check on to me. Yeah, we bringing all the good energy here. You know what I mean? Because it's real important, right? I said time and time again when I'm on the show is that, you know, and so many avenues on TV, on radio, everywhere you look, you know what I mean? It's like people are more excited to share the bad and share the, the negative. But my passion, you know what I'm saying, is to make sure that I share as much good as I can. And essentially, Baltimore, Maryland, we get so much a bad rap. Anyway, I really like to bring people on here that is representing. It's representing for our city, right? And you are definitely one of those. And what was the number? What was the number, Shanika? So I can
my number 443 722
722.
Yep, 74996.
96. Look, and I even did that on the side, Lord numbers, girl. Like I was a medical biller. A medical caller, right? So everybody watching, I got all that information in the chat. It's definitely going to be on here. The show is recorded. It'll be on all of them outlets. So guess what? Even if they ain't got to see it today, they gonna see it Monday, okay? And hopefully they'll be reaching out to you. So we talked about how you got started. We talked about how your mindset changed. We talked about, a lot of what your beliefs are, how you embody your passions, and embrace your gifts. We talked about the struggles, all of that other stuff like that, right? So I had to ask you, why you passionate about the real estate or anything else like that? Do you see yourself going into anything
other things? Oh yeah, definitely.
Yeah.
Frankie again. I'm actually about to take the class for sell life insurance so soon. But my gift, like I said, serving. So I would like to open soon, hopefully, a staff and temp agency service. So that's something I've been reading a lot of books on that. And I have a mentor that was helping me, and I just finished my business plan with that. So the way I look at, I love real estate. I love doing what I'm doing. But that's definitely going to help me to get where I need to go, of course, financially, but help me build on what I want to build on. That's like my foundation. If I could say that.
Yeah, so, that's awesome. So you want to help other people get jobs. See, like right now you want to help people get houses, achieve their dreams, and then you want to help other people get jobs because you recognize how that's getting a little iffy too, right?
Right. But when I went to went to a business class with John Hopkins, and a guy that was doing a class, he was like asking people what do they want to do and blah blah blah. And people was like, oh, I want to, have a boutique, I want to sell clothes, I want to make food, blah blah blah. And he was just like, well, not trying to discourage anyone, but focus on the needs of people. So what my staffing is pretty much going to focus on medical, providing medical care, personal care, something we all going to need. Everyone's going to get sick. Like they say, you're a baby twice, you're an adult once. People are going to get sick, stuff, it's going to break down. So I just want to focus on a medical need because I think it's very important and everyone is going to need it. Even if you need people coming in to help you with daily living skills, take you to the store, to the market, to dialysis, so that's what I want to focus on, more on the medical need, because that's something that's going to always be around, people going to need, so you definitely want to focus on people's needs and what people are going to always need when you're providing a service out.
Building. Girl, building. You go in, queen, building with ShanikaJones.com.
Right.
That is building. That's awesome. Because see, look, you where you at now. You're comfortable with it, you're passionate about it, but that's important too, to help people to understand that, as well as that, you ain't gotta stay where you at. Keep
you don't have to
on it. And when something comes to you, you can keep on building, keep on building.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
Always focus on the people, the human, their needs. Always focus on what they're going to need.
Right. And it's going to always
going to be a need for someone way to live. People going to always need somewhere to live.
Yes.
Always. You know what I'm saying? People going to get old. They're going to always need somebody to help them.
Yes, you are. People going to always need somewhere to live.
You
always need some help. And, and especially with that type of stuff, that too. And probably will put you in that mindset too. Look, we going back to COVID. Was the COVID? Yep. To know about the medical stuff and to know how important that was or whatever. So look, go ahead. I thank God that he let it help in that way. to put those passions and put those gifts in you, because that's definitely what it was about. And everybody watching, I hope you've seen that. Right, look, your dreams to come true. Even when you're helping someone else achieve their goals and achieve your dreams, don't you stop dreaming and go for your goals. Definitely go for your goals. Any last tip, Shanika? I mean, like I told you, we ending up on the run of the show. It's going slow, but we almost there. We are
good. You good. There. This is perfect. This is perfect.
Okay.
You know, I don't know, like every morning I get up, I read my devotion, I pray. That's the first thing I do. I pray, do my devotion, and I work out like 4 times a week in the morning. I'm up like 5 o'clock in the morning, you know, to have my time with God and just do what I'm doing. But definitely, you know, if it's something that's in you that you want to do, like focus, like don't give up. You know, I think it's Habakkuk 2:2, you know, write the vision, make it clear. You know, you may not see it now, but just write your vision, make it clear, and stick with it. You know, prosper.
Just like that budget. Just like that budget.
Yeah, it may not come now, but it's going to come. You know,
keep on encouraging yourself. Write it down. That's always a good practice. Write your goals down. Also understand, because it used to be for me is that, you know, I would have a goal, but in 2, I started writing it down. It's good that you said that, because I can make that point. And 2, I started writing it down. I didn't really sometimes used to recognize the short-term goals, even in that process too, you know, buying home ownership that you had to accomplish to help you achieve that long-term goal. You know what I mean? So sometimes we'll see the long-term goal, right? And we really don't understand or really, you know, grasp the reality of what it takes to actually get there. So writing it down is a good practice in your life, to write down the steps. I do that as well. I say, well, this date I want this, right?
Oh,
and
yeah.
Go back, you know what I mean? Just how like I was going through the budget with doing certain things, right? And it's kind of like, well, if I want this or I need to do that, then I'm gonna have to do this time, doing this, and I set it up for myself like that, right? Showing up for yourself. It's work.
Right.
It's like going to work. It's work. And you gotta put that work in.
Faith without work is dead. You know what that is.
It's dead. And life ain't easy. So you better go hard. It is not easy. So you got to go hard. And just like I said, sometimes you will set yourself up to achieve a goal, and it might not work out for you. It might not go the way that you wanted it the first time. But don't even be discouraged in that. Because like I told you, I done been through the process 3, 4, 5 times. Home ownership, but I am not discouraged. I'm encouraged, because I know, like what we were talking about the whole show, we know that things happen in a way that is going to set it up that when it's your time, is your time. So even if you had to go before, you know, and it keep coming back, go back at it. Don't give up for yourself. You definitely gotta put that work.
It's reset. Don't give up. It's reset.
Right. And if it comes too easy, you know what I mean? I think that's with anything in life. You know what I'm saying? If it comes too easy, you don't really get to, what is it? Like, cherish it, or
you don't get to enjoy the process of the whole thing.
Right. You don't understand, you know what I'm saying? That level of gratefulness, you know what I'm saying? When you finally get there, So start as many times as you have to, guys. The start is not finished. Life is not no race. We know that people are dying every day. But every day is a new day to start, to say, look, I'm gonna do this, and I'm gonna do this for me. You know what I mean? Whatever it is. And just like Shanika was saying, to write it down, that's a great way to keep on affirming things to yourself. It'll kind of give you a guideline on what you need to do, where you need to be. You make it a reality. You know, I want to start school in June or whatever. So if you want to start school, it's steps toward to be able to start the school, just like it's steps toward to be able to buy a house. So understand that it's not something that just happens for life. I mean, overnight, really. You know what I mean? It's not something that happens overnight.
I heard
it's a process, and a lot of times, I don't know, we just think that, you know what I mean? As people, if something don't happen right then and right now, it's kind of like, and So that's the main part. Look, If you want to
I heard something you just said about writing it down. I heard some years ago. It was like, don't think it, ink it. And I'm like,
okay.
Right. You know, we think about stuff. So my phone, if I'm thinking of something, I'm writing my notes quick. Don't think it,
ink it. Right. And what about the other saying? If it ain't written, it ain't happen, right?
Right.
So you're right. And if it ain't written, it ain't happen. And documentation is so very important, especially through that home ownership process. And sometimes it's good too, you know, like, you know, even with journaling or whatever else like that, you know, and I go back and I read different things or where I was at or whatever. Kind of like when you was a kid, you know, your mother used to save them old school papers, and my mother used to save everything, you know, stuff she was saving rubber, right? So to be able to go back sometimes and look at that stuff that you done wrote it down and see that change and how you developed, and you know, what was your train of thinking or whatever else like that. And what sometimes is spooky to me is that even with, you know, like the Facebook, you know, the memories or whatever else like that, I've been noticing, like, when my memories pop out, right, I'll be like, dang, I be feeling the same way.
Right.
Certain parts a year, right? A memory just came up for me, right? And I said, wait a minute. And last year, I was thinking the same thing. So I know that is a reason for that as well. You know what I mean? So yeah, God works it out. Lifing, and y'all better just keep on keeping on living. Make sure you get through with us, right? Right, Shanika? You ready?
I love it. Yeah.
Building. She right now with the real estate, but y'all heard her. She gonna have a temp agency and everything else like this. This is social capital right here. Yes, indeed. And we are socializing, and we're gonna capitalize on this opportunity. Yes, we are. Yes, we are. Oh, okay. I'd like to always too shout out Shanika, because I know this is the first time you've been on my show, but Be Exposed is a whole thing, Queen. And tomorrow, I hope not you, but all of the other viewers, not only you, but the other viewers too who are watching, that y'all tune in to my brothers here on the station. We got Nick Hauser, who comes on tomorrow with the Artist Exchange. He does a whole lot of things in the artistry, as well as Skyline. But right here, we exposed everything. That's why it's Be Exposed. So if you want to be exposed, you see Shanika Jones definitely came through so gracefully to be my guest. You know that you can hit me up. You can go to the website at beexposedradio.com. Tell us you're interested in wanting to be a guest. We also can run a commercial for you.
Wow. Okay.
Commercial. Run some ads for you all in the show. Generally, sometimes too, we run commercials, but I get on here and be talking like I said, time go by. And I'll be like, dang, I ain't taking no commercial good, right? But it's all good. That's how it be. But yeah, definitely make sure that if this is your first time looking at the show or whatever, that it is not your last. You definitely can go to my page. You Better Live. It is on Facebook. Like I told you, like it. Your comments, your likes, your shares, all of that is so very important to me. I thank you for it so very much. It be like I'm repeating myself, but I got to show that gratitude, all the positivity and everything else like that. I just definitely gotta keep putting it out there. Keep putting it out there.
Yeah, we have to. Yeah.
Keep putting it out there. Keep putting it out there. So usually towards the end of the show, I had some what in the whats, some what in the world. I was running a little bit behind today, so I didn't get to write every little thing down. But just how we was talking about in life, how life be happening, because also on the show, you know, I share information, try to bring about all of the positivities, let people know what's going on in Baltimore. But we talk about, you know, them breaking news and everything else like that, how things can just stop and change like that. And that just makes me think about the football player. Seen over the world. DeMar from the Bills, right, from the Buffalo Bills, right? Who went into cardiac arrest on the field out there. And how many times we were just so much in a routine of doing something, right? And don't realize, you know what I mean? Like I'm not going to say the danger, but just how sensitive we are to things happening. Like sometimes we be so used to our routine, like we just think everything gonna be what it is all the time and everything else like that. And like you learned with the government shutting down, with the COVID and everything else like that, a lot of times that is not the case. A lot of times that's not the case. So that just made me think of that young brother, Mr. Hamlin. Definitely prayers out to him and his family. I hear that he's coming around. That is great to know. Definitely great to know. But how many mothers, I can imagine how many mothers, how many fathers who children play sports, different, you know what I mean? And never, not saying never realized it, but like tragedy.
You never,
right
never
there
think that anything like that would happen.
And then to realize, the other little stuff, the game, the school, and everything else like that. When life happens like that, it really puts you on point on what matters and what really don't matter, and how much time do we waste on stuff that don't even really matter, right? I mean, enjoy life, but we waste so much energy on stuff that really don't even matter, right? Also in the city, as the year got started off, tragedy, it's a new year. Okay, of course, we were praying for the best. I just now seen the shooting that happened up Emerson High School, that such a tragedy. And when you think about this, constantly people, I talked about that on my show at the end of the year, and just was talking about how I went through the homicide list and was seeing all those names, and we talking about writing stuff down. So people don't understand how powerful it is when you really see something on paper, right? And me just reading all of these names, and I'm like, wow, and looking at the ages and the locations, like these is really people, like in my city, it's people. Right. But when you really, really, really think about it, I started off saying we got so much to be grateful for. Man, still so much to pray for. Yes, I heard it was a 16-year-old guy that lost his life, 8-year-old boy who was just all of this coming in the start of the year. So things can happen at any time. Anytime. I guess with the point that I'm also trying to get to is that life will prepare you, right? You never know what you can get through until you go through it. Until you go through it. That's why I just be like so very grateful, right? And I come back to that, like I said, one negative thing can ruin your day, but baby, when them negative things be coming and you really realize, like I'm telling you, be like, that stuff don't matter. Right. I am really on my unbothered, okay? And it's not for 2020, just 2023, because we talked about that too. People coming to the new year, they have resolutions, it's so, what they say, cliche. Whatever. It's a resolution or whatever else like that. And I say, that's what I was saying. The solution should you, just to live, that should always be your resolution. Right. You know what I mean? But hey, if you got to take the start of the year, your birthday, whatever it is, the start of resolution, you don't just have to wait to the start of the year or whatever else like that to get your New Year's resolution. Not at all. So focus. One of the comments was asking us before, what would be your advice on telling someone how to find their passion and find their gift? I'm gonna go back to that too, right? Your passion is right. Something that you enjoy doing, something that you grow, should I say, something that you grow to love, right? But your gift is something that was already with you. Like this talk, look, when I was younger, girl, look, people used to be like, shut up. Shut up, you talk too much, right? I remember being a little girl, right? Since we going back and really knowing how God prepared me, right? And I'd be like, no. And I always, even in my last job in advocacy and different stuff like that, I always used to be in school for the underdog. You know what I mean? My mom used to say, mind your business. But I got a lot accomplished, right? I was in middle school. They had the cheerleading squad. I was like, what? I can't be on the cheerleading squad because I can't do no flip. Oh no, this discrimination. I was all the way back there advocating, girl. Running my mouth. Got a cheerleading squad, went to high school, out in a predominantly white school out in Baltimore County, was able to start a step squad. You know what I mean? All of that. So even back then, you know what I mean? That was my gift, to be talking. I just had a way to relate to people and to try to get people to understand. You know what I'm saying? I always was into that communication and comprehension. But yeah, when I was little, them people used to have to watch me. They said if I wasn't talking, I was crying, and I'm still a crying. They said if this girl ain't talking, she's crying, and I'm still the same way. But it definitely be all good, all good. 8:47, and we 5 minutes. Ooh, down. Is it 5? Is it 5? Let me get my math.
That's okay, but it molds you to who the person you are.
Yes. It certainly did. And you know, I give a shout out to my mother, because my mom used to be like, look, you say what you got to say, whatever, you know what I mean? And it wasn't never disrespectful, even though a lot of times now, you know, when children are like that, people tend to say it's disrespectful. What was disrespectful? Like, no, you know, let children talk, express themselves, you know what I mean? And say what you had to say. They ain't cursing. They ain't being rude or whatever else like that. Get it on out. So I thank God for the gift. Even though my mom wanted me to be talking, and I've been talking. They say since I came out the womb, and here we are on a You Better Live and trying to live. And also too, with this show on You Better Live, you know what I mean? I always tell people I done had some struggles, and that's why I share my, you know, what my tribulations and all that type of stuff was. Like, that's part of my testimony. That's part of my testimony. And who better than to tell your story before people start telling stories?
Right.
You know what I mean?
Right.
But yeah, your story is not over. The start is not finished. I had Shanica Jones up in here with me tonight, giving y'all them good old Joneses. You know, she already shared. I'm going to say it again. The IG to Facebook is Shanica.Jones_realtor. Build with ShanicaJones.com. Her number is 443-722-7496.
That's right.
Make sure you get on that woofer. Make sure. So, did you have fun with me tonight, Miss Jones?
I love this.
Okay, what was up in here? Jones and what me?
I love it. Yes. Energy. I love your whole.
Look, and I gotta open it up because
I love all that.
Yes,
I can feel that energy coming this way.
And I love it. And yes, and I open it up to you. Open invitation. Anytime, sister, that you got the time to come back, please do. It's always open up to you. Please do come back. Fam out here that is watching, I need y'all. Hit me up in the chats when I come back next week. I gotta do some what in the worlds. Y'all know that I be talking. Y'all know it be your news, our views. That's what I be saying, right? Because like I said, who else better than to tell our stories? Because then people start to telling stories. So I'm gonna be back on here next week. I told y'all I had a guest. I'm beating myself up, but I don't want to mess her name up, right? Because it's the daughter of the queen whose name I kept on messing up, Bia. So I'm and I'm be like, no, I want to mess.
It's all love. It's all love.
It definitely is all love. And she know it is, because when a young queen reached out to me, and she spelled my name and she said, Chase, I said it's all good, because I wanted to say, honey, did you hear I was messing your mama name up? I did a whole room mess the name up. But then I started thinking like the Bia on the song, and I had it all together. And of course, you know, Shanica Jones. I was like, Frankie Jones, Shanica Jones. Yes, it definitely had a ring to it. So we had to do it. I thank you.
Appreciate you
again, my friend. Appreciate you. I'm gonna let Shanica go, y'all. But guess what? Y'all know, right? Y'all might be saying Shanica on here. Look, I'm talking it into existence. Shanica has some things too. Aside from that, temporary staffing business now, okay? She is building with the kids, and they gonna be on here. They gonna be on the show. They gonna be exposed. We exposed everything. Yeah, I exposed it. I put it out there in the air. I put it out there in the air. So, you know, we got the contact information. I'm gonna text you the contact information definitely, so you can check back in with my awesome brother Money Wiley. about all the information, and you can come on through here. You already Be Exposed family, so I mean, like, duh, it only makes sense, right?
Right.
Love you, Queen. Peace.
Love you. Appreciate it. Thank you. We'll talk.
For me one time. Shanika Jones.
Don't forget.
Yes. Assets over liabilities. Hey,
have
guys.
A good night, y'all, everyone.
Have a good night.
Appreciate you.
What? Yeah, my girl enjoyed it up in here. Y'all know that's a good feeling. I hope all of y'all enjoy. Yes, y'all embrace this place. And while my energy was up, because I feel it out there. But y'all notice me. This is how I always try to be. And I was tripping, right? And I was like, I'm always rhyming. But look, we was talking about gifts, right? And I swear I'm not always trying. It's just my gift. God made it like that, right? I am a poet and I am a hip hop artist by nature. Yes, naturally. That's just my gift. That's what I do. God is ChasReal, the Empress Lady Cake Mix, all that. I mean, next year I might have another name. So what? But anyway, I'm back here, guys. Next Thursday, 7 to 9. Y'all gonna see my reel so I can introduce my next guest next week. So make sure y'all come back. Positive young queen who just had an album release. Yeah, so we're gonna get all into that. I'm also gonna come back with some what in the whats and some what in the worlds. We're gonna talk about a lot of stuff I gotta say about what was going on in Baltimore City, and even aside from that, going on in the world. I think last year before I gotta get this out because I didn't even bring it up, right? It was this guy in Hayes. What was it? I can't even remember, right? But he was terminally ill, patient. We're gonna talk about this more. I'm just giving it to y'all now, right? Terminally ill. He like in a hospice setting, like in a medical facility, right? The medical worker called him smoking a vape, called the police on him. His room was raided, right? He had that and some THC paste, and he supposed to have a court date on January the 2nd. But mind you, this man was terminally ill, but he did get cited because they did call the police and the police had to do their job. But I thought that was like the pettiest of the year. I even feel some type of way about bringing it into the new year. But I'm going to check back on that story definitely because I was like, how petty can you be? But like I said, I need y'all. Make sure y'all hit me up in this inbox, y'all, on my personal Facebook page at Chastity Empress Dorsey or the You Better Live. Like, share, comment. I appreciate y'all. Love all the support. I'm right back here on Thursday, next Thursday night, 7 to 9. You better live your news, our views. God bless you. God loves you. You better live. And I'm out of here. 2023. Is we out of here? I thought I was ready. Okay, I thought I was running, but something want me to stay.